Confused about what career to choose? Not quite sure of the range of study and work options compatible with your personality, aptitude, and interests? Welcome to Career Cafe, where we give you a ringside view of an exciting career each week. Together, we shall explore the pros and cons, the ins and outs, the programs and prospects, all the stuff you need to make an informed and successful career choice. Hi, I'm your host and career guide Parveen Malhotra, and on the menu today we have the ever popular field of information technology, a field that needs no introduction. IT is undoubtedly the tidal wave that's reshaping an entire age. It is propelling humankind from the industrial age to the brave new information age, perhaps the greatest change agent of the 20th century. Changing the way we live, work, communicate with one another, shop, study, practically everything we do. So ubiquitous is IT that one of the parameters of a country's development and progress is its level of digitization and IT infrastructure. And IT has even become a popular political plank, what with Digital India capturing the nation's imagination. Who better to tell us all about this field than Bikram Dasgupta, founder and executive chairman of the Globsyn Group. BDG, as he is popularly called, is in many ways a pioneer in the Indian IT or tech industry. From introducing Dell computers to India in the early 90s, to setting up the first IT park in 1996, to helping host India's first international tech event, followed by the first software finishing school, as well as an integrated BPO institute. Presently, his organization provides IT and management education. Bikram has been invited to consult with the World Bank for developing the IT sectors in emerging economies in the Pacific Rim. Welcome to Career Cafe.
Thank you.
Bikram, so tell me, IT has been a huge employer for the last couple of decades at least. Yeah. Now, do you think that in the next 5 to 10 years, the pace will remain the same, or will it increase, will it reduce, and what sort of numbers are we talking about?
See, one of the significant difference which perhaps IT brought in was the whole aspect of this industry is global.
Right.
See, many businesses we do today, they are either regional or national, but IT is by definition global. So that increases your space of the market. That's how we all started years back. So the market keeps changing, the technology keeps changing, the usage keeps changing, but the demand keeps on growing. It's a very interesting kind of phenomena. So you need to continuously retrain and update and continuously update yourself with the need of the time. This is overall aspect.
Right.
As far India is concerned, we started from contract programming, going to US and getting jobs, to offshoring, to BPO, to KPO, and to curation and various subjects. Now there are very specific areas where the market is evolving and growing. So the market is very good. It's a $1 trillion industry.
Absolutely.
Globally. But you have to be clear which area the market is changing and growing.
So what are the numbers? How many people, rough idea, who are employed in the IT industry?
I wouldn't know.
Really?
But I think the number runs very, very large. It's a function of how many is available. Because it starts from the colleges, undergrad colleges,
right.
How many graduates we can create, and then they get deployed. Now the variety has increased. So earlier it was only tech.
Yes.
Now there is not only tech, there is BPO, there is KPO, there is various services within BPO,
right.
There are various services within IT. There are areas of technology, high-end technology, which is R&D kind of work. So it's so much variety that very large number of people are deployed both in India and all over the world.
All over the world.
Yes.
So tell me, now IT is such a dynamic field, as you said, it keeps changing all the time.
Yeah.
Now, when a young person is looking at a career in IT, how should he be planning? Should he be just content with studying the basics of IT that are taught in, say, an typical engineering college? Should he be doing certifications along the side? What should he be doing?
Yeah, well, you said,
So,
how does a
Yes.
youngster prepare?
Right.
First and foremost thing, for the benefit of the youngster, I want to say, IT is more about aptitude, not about sheer knowledge.
Okay.
Now, this is a myth where we all feel that if you have to do IT, you have to be an engineer or you have to be a techie, and we have created that environment.
Yes.
If you have the right aptitude, you could be English honors and be a programmer. You could be BCom and be a programmer. So I want to dispel that thought first, that it's all about aptitude, the right kind of aptitude. What aptitude?
Yes.
Then you have numerical aptitude, application logical aptitude. So you should try some tests and see how you're responding to it. There are a lot of simulated tests available, and all these centers do a lot of tests. These days, everything is on on the web. So I think if you feel comfortable with those aptitudes, then that's the first step, and that you can do at home.
Right.
Then I think you should take a basic course, preferably engineering, otherwise
A BCA or a BSc IT.
or an
something
IT,
like
there
that.
are plenty of courses available, because that's anyway generic. I don't give over importance to the undergrad knowledge, because your aptitudes parallelly start developing as you do the undergrad. You really come to know when you're in the final year, and then you start enjoying it, and you see things happening around, and you maybe write something down on your laptop or something and start developing it. You can do things yourself. Now you're seeing that, wow, I'm enjoying this. I want to do this more. So if that propensity without a job comes, it becomes easier to choose a line.
But tell me, now you've said this is music to most people's ears, people who've not taken science or not gotten into an engineering college. But would tech companies, IT companies really look at these people?
Yeah, in fact, for different jobs, different kind of people are hired.
Okay.
So if there is a high-tech job, obviously there will be a need for an electronics engineer or whatever. But there are today so much variety of IT jobs. Everything is called IT, so it's a very generic term.
Yes.
So I'm absolutely confident. It is your aptitude. I'll repeat. Where is your aptitude? If your aptitude is on graphic design, let's say, or your aptitude even as generic as detailing, I have work for them. I have work where this element of your detailing and picking things up and cleaning it up and putting it in a place, it'll give you jobs. So there are various, you have to go focus on your aptitude and then develop that.
I think that's a fantastic point to make.
And someone like you can do that, because you have been in this line for such a long time. You can direct a youngster on the aptitude side, and then they can take.
I have a psychometric test that does just that.
Exactly,
yes. Now tell me another thing. You started India's first software finishing school.
Yeah.
Why did you feel the need, and what is it that young, say, BTechs or BSc ITs, etc., what can they do alongside to be job ready when they pass out?
See, the software finishing school, as we call it, has changed over years. I started it in 95, 96. It's been about 20 years. So when I started this, there was no computer science or computer engineering department.
So it was electronics.
So my institute, IIT Kharagpur, had an extension of electrical engineering as a computer engineering with 30 students. That was it. So in 1998, the private engineering colleges came in. So the first engineering graduates came out around 2001, 2002. Till then, there was a very few colleges doing it. But in India, education system, and you are an expert in this, education system is highly linear, which means a guy with a mechanical engineering and a guy with a computer engineering, their aptitudes are similar.
Absolutely.
And they have been selected by the same selection process.
Right.
So I told myself, if I can grab those guys and bring them into my line, which is IT, then we suddenly have availability of people. So I started researching. There's a small institute in Calcutta called Indian Institute of Psychometry, IIP, and there was 2 elderly people there, and Mr. Mukherjee and Mrs. Chatterjee. I went to them, and you won't believe I had to sit there for hours. I had to sit on the floor, and I used to say, I want to identify software aptitude. So please help me. What is software aptitude? Because nobody in India knows what is a software aptitude. So through that process, with their help, with their guidance, I hope they are there now, I created what I called as GSAT, which is Globsyn Software Aptitude Test.
BDG, there's one lady on the line. She's been waiting from Coimbatore. We'll just take her and continue. Premlata from Coimbatore, welcome to Career Cafe. Hi.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I am studying now in the second year IT, sir. Sir?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, which type of knowledge I want to develop to enter the IT career, sir?
Well, that's just what we're discussing, that she's already doing her second year of IT. Yes. So we're talking about what it is that she needs to focus on to be.
So my quick answer to you, Premlata, will be that you're still undergrad second year, and things change so much. You've picked up the right line to be in IT. If you're doing IT, just do that and be conscious about your aptitude, because there are multiple aptitudes which will come in the way. See what you're enjoying doing more, and that is a line you will focus. Technologies might change by the time you graduate.
Yes, very
New
true.
products might come in. So for me to say something, what will happen 4 years from today is difficult in IT. But however, you're on the right path. You just keep focus. Keep looking at your aptitude, and you will discover the line to take in future.
Also make sure that your basics are in place.
That's right.
No?
That's absolutely right.
Yes. Because if you've learned the architecture of one language, then regardless of which new language comes,
It becomes easier.
It becomes
Yeah,
easier.
sure.
Sure. So that is the important thing to keep in mind. But coming back to making kids like Premlata ready for the job, what are the skills that the industry is looking for, and what is lacking? What is it that they find lacking?
See, India primarily, I use the word primarily because things are changing so much, so drastic. India primarily is a services country. It is not a product country.
Okay.
It's not Microsoft.
Right.
It is Infosys or Wipro.
TCS,
So it is a services country. If it is a services country, which it is, then things like software engineering, things like methodology, things like project management, those things become very function point analysis. These become very important. So the software finishing school which we made designed the program that there was a technology of the day, which is easy. You can pick up the technology of the day.
Right.
Then in the middle, there was this thing called application engineering. Now you've learned the technology, you're applying that technology in various methodologies. And the last was management. Because here a lot of people get jobs on telephone.
Yes.
Now, if you have to communicate your knowledge 10,000 miles away on a telephone,
How do you
do it? So that itself is that itself is an education.
Absolutely.
So we devote a good amount of time in project management, behavioral science, function point analysis, all those areas. So this three combined was the curriculum for
absolutely, and that holds even today.
Yeah, it holds
absolutely.
even today.
So we'll take a short break here, but when we return, we'll continue to look at the prospects in IT and continue taking your queries. So stay right there. Welcome back to Career Cafe. We are looking at careers in IT, and with us is Bikram Dasgupta of the Globsyn Group. And on the line, we have Aman from Jharkhand. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Welcome to Career Cafe.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My question was
Yes.
that in the coming time, as we all know that the competition is going on very tough, then what the candidate should keep in mind after class 12 in going in IT field and will be better for him in coming days. And what should the student take in mind and which subject he should select after passing class 10, as my brother is this year going to pass class 10. So which subject he should select that it will be better in going in this field? That was my question.
You got the
motive
question.
of asking question was that what will be better for him in selecting the career in this field?
All right. His question is that his brother, young brother who's in class 10, now has to select his stream and therefore his subjects. So if he wants to make a career in IT, what subject should he be focusing on and how should he be looking?
See, the number one subject in IT is mathematics.
Absolutely.
So he must enjoy mathematics. And it's a lot to do with logic and numbers. If he enjoys logic and numbers, then that's a starting point to go. People normally take science stream to go towards IT. And then these days, even in undergraduate, IT is available. So he can choose that. I, for one, believe undergraduate is quite generic. And as you go through those 3 to 4 years of undergrad, you'll be able to identify which direction the market is going. For example, today the market is into mobile computing heavily, into social media, into cloud, and into big data. These 4 areas, but these 4 areas to talk to a class 10 boy or girl doesn't make too much sense. So if you take a generic stream with maths and logic as the main background and go through undergrad, when you reach the final year, then you can focus which one you are enjoying more. See, IT is a lot to do with enjoying. You must really, really enjoy because it is linked to innovation. It is linked to creating new things. So if you don't enjoy, you can't create.
Very true.
So those things you have to observe in yourself, and the parents can play a role. You can play a role as an elder brother to help him identify the direction he's going. Then choosing after that, it's not that difficult after that.
Yes, so I think in short, if he were to take physics, chemistry and math, he'd be very safe.
Absolutely.
He'd be very safe. He can go and do a BTech or he can do a BSc IT or a BCA.
Absolutely.
All of these will be open to him. Now, when it comes to hiring people, you said, of course, you could be a humanities graduate or anything, but say, let's talk about IT-related qualifications like a BTech or an MCA. As far as the industry is concerned, does it hold both these at par?
See, there are, even within computer science, there are areas.
Yes.
Like if you see you have to see between the line. If it's a computer science, it is different from computer engineering.
Okay.
And there is information systems and there is information technology. So at the class 12 level, it's very difficult for a person to say. But if you go between the lines, computer science will take you more towards the logic side, will take you more towards the programming side, and take you more towards software development side. Computer engineering is little more on the hardware side, on the system side, engineering side, and it will help you to go on system side, that direction. So these are lines between, so you might like to, the student might like to get in touch with someone like you at that time and say, I am this.
Right,
and,
right.
Which
So what should I be
yeah,
looking at?
Yeah.
What should I be looking at? We have yet another caller from Tamil Nadu. Welcome to Career Cafe. Hello.
I am Saraswati from Tamil Nadu.
Yes, Saraswati, welcome.
My daughter is actually employed in TCS in the testing side. How can she come to know about the latest trends in testing? Can she do big data also, madam?
Okay. Her daughter is working in TCS in testing. So how will she come to know? I think the very fact that she is in TCS keeps her in touch with what's happening.
It's not that difficult, Saraswati, because if she's in TCS and she has a lunch every day,
yes,
she will come to know around that environment itself. And TCS is working on big data a lot. If you ask the question from the point of view of doing certification programs or learning analytics or big data, analytics is a very, very big area today. And there are academies which are only on analytics. So maybe you can do some research and do some search on analytics. And if there are analytics programs available around the place, business schools do analytics, even computer training centers do analytics.
But is it the same analytics?
Analytics actually analyzes big data.
Right.
So if you have large amount of data and you have to do crunching and you can want to take out the essence of it, that's big data and analytics. So I think in very layman's language. So I think between analytics and big data, you will see a lot of training program, not too much coming in pure big data right now. It's more application. So perhaps TCS is a better place to know big data than the market. But you have analytics academies today. I mean, number of academies are coming up. Just be on the lookout for that, and maybe you can help your daughter.
Now, Bikram, another question. When we talk of IT in India, most people just think software, okay, and perhaps predominantly the jobs are in software today. What about hardware?
See, hardware, the fundamentals, I've been a hardware person, so my background is towards that. So I think the fundamental problem of hardware starts from the genes, in the sense that we don't make semiconductors in this country.
Right.
So there is no what is called as a fab unit. India doesn't have a fab unit. So we start from assembly. So we import the boards, import the components, populate it, and that's where we start. So what comes in is systems engineering more than pure hardware. So there is a lot of system engineering. There is a lot of software on the hardware writing, like device drivers and other things. So that is where a lot of education happens. Electronics engineering covers that comprehensively. Computer engineering also touches on that areas quite a lot. And so you come out with that systems background. The application side of systems is what you hear, networking and those kind of areas where there are a lot of application which takes in. Like for example, if I give you 10 PCs and 2 servers, can you make the best use of it? I think academic institution doesn't teach that. A finishing School teaches that. So, I'm giving you an example because this was a very live question.
Right.
So you can be a computer engineer and then you go to a company with a job and the manager tells you, here is the server, here are 10 pieces, give me the best output of it. You don't know how to do it.
Right.
So I think application of real-time work is something which is very, very relevant in our line, our industry. And that's why these finishing schools and others have come in. So hardware is there, it's more on the applied side. I mean, more on the application side. That's fundamentally because we don't deal so much at the source level of hardware.
So these vendor certifications, who should be going in for these?
So most of the vendors we have large global vendors who give certifications.
Right.
And these are marketed by training institutes. They're purely marketeers.
Yes.
What one should do is to really test out the quality of faculty. See, it is not so much the certification and the curriculum. More important is the person who's teaching. Because what is that person's background? Where does he come from? Why does he teach there? What does he do otherwise? And that is why in our line, a lot of people prefer working professionals to teach because they are actually doing live work. So I think one has to be extremely careful about the faculty and their background and thereby the brand of the company which can afford to keep a good faculty.
So authorized
centers. Particular authorized center and also the knowledge.
And the knowledge.
Because if you go more towards engineering side, which is the electronic side, you need knowledge. I mean, otherwise the person will not really learn so much. So I think good companies do keep good people. So some research has to be done
before you
get into that.
And now one last question before I get this thing to wind it up. There's this whole buzz about startups. And most of the startups that we see, the Snapdeals and the Flipkarts, operate on their e-commerce platform. Okay, but what about startups in hardcore IT itself? Are there as many possible? Plenty, apps and
I am involved in investing into a few startups myself, and an organization like NASCOM has a warehousing brand where they incubate startups, all in IT, and it's in every region, every location, and there are brilliant ideas coming out there. I mean, you have to see to believe it. These young boys and girls, they're so good, and there's so much bubbling with energy that you feel like sitting with them and helping them to grow. So I think that's a very good thing. Their problem is, how do they make the minimum viable product?
That's it.
And how much does it cost to make that minimum viable product, and where do they source? So the real money for, let's say, angel investment money or other things come post the minimum viable product. But before that, they need some money to really go through this whole thing, which is why the starting point is incubation. But between incubation and the minimum viable product, there is a phase where they need help. and some guidance so that they can create that product, demonstrate it, get money, and grow.
So there's a lot that's happening.
So
on
there's
the
a lot
platform.
that's happening. It's a very exciting area. Very exciting area. Yeah.
So what is your parting shot for people looking at this field?
The right line to decide to go in.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But you must have the aptitude for it. IT is not a line if you don't have the aptitude for it. You will struggle.
You will struggle. So when we talk of IT, we are also talking of ITeS.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
And so even if you are not hardcore tech person, then there are
when I talked about BComs and others, I was having ITeS in mind. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you have curation. That's a very, very big business. Like today you have this company OLX and others. There are plenty of such
aggregators.
Companies. Aggregators. They have big jobs, lots and lots of work there. So you should do that kind of training programs and be ready for that job after you have a basic degree.
So when it comes to these large companies going to campuses and hiring mechanical, civil, chemical, all kinds of engineers, so how long does it take them to get them job ready for IT if they do not have a hardcore IT background?
It depends, but I think 6 months.
That's it?
Yeah. 6 months if he has the right aptitude.
Okay.
I would like to believe they don't take a guy unless the aptitude is there, because they run through your psychometric tests and those kind of things, and you can catch once only such people they take for IT, and those kind of guys you give them a terminal 6 months and they get some prototype jobs work to do. 6 months they can pick it up.
Great. So on that note, we'll wrap up today's show here. Bikram, thank you so much for coming to Career Cafe. I think we'll have another edition of Career Cafe just focusing on all the things that we have yet to discuss.
Sure.
But thanks a ton for coming.
Thank you.
And next week we'll look at yet another super career. But before that, let me leave you with a parting thought. Your success or happiness doesn't depend on how the environment adapts to you, but how you adapt to the environment. So bye for now. Get out of your comfort zone and be your best.